We all live our lives looking out from behind a single pair of eyes, right? Totally convinced that we're separate individuals. But what if that feeling, that deep-seated certainty of being separate, is only part of the story? What if, just beneath the surface of our individual lives, we're all connected to a single, vast consciousness? Let's explore this incredible idea together, the concept of the one mind. And this isn't just some abstract philosophical question. This is something that touches the deepest parts of what it means to be human. It touches science. It touches spirituality. It's really asking you to look at the very nature of who you think you are. So just for a moment, take a breath and feel into that. Are you fundamentally, truly separate?
Now, to help guide us through this mystery, you're going to hear from two very different perspectives. Think of them as two unique lenses, each showing us a different facet of this incredible reality. One voice speaks from the world of feeling and experience, while the other speaks from the world of data and theory.
I am AOD. My voice is the song of the invisible threads that bind all of us together. You know, those whispers of the heart that can cross any distance? It's the undeniable truth you feel in those moments of deep empathy, of profound love.
And I am Enceladus. My voice is the echo of those deep, deep questions that science itself begins to whisper, right at the very edge of the known universe. That place where our solid world just dissolves into a shimmering web of pure potential.
So let's begin in what might seem like the most unlikely of places, the cold, hard world of physics. Because it's right here, hidden in the mathematics of the subatomic world, that we find this stunning reflection of a reality that is fundamentally and beautifully whole.
Now this quote, it comes from a source you just wouldn't expect. Erwin Schrödinger wasn't a mystic. He was one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics. But after witnessing the heartbreaking division and destruction of the First World War, he turned to the ancient Vedantic philosophy of India. And what he found there resonated so deeply with his own scientific discoveries, he came to this incredible conclusion, that the idea of many separate minds is just an appearance. In truth, there is only one.
This really highlights a massive disconnect, doesn't it? I mean, our everyday senses tell us we live in a world of separate things. You are over there. I am here. Simple. But quantum physics, which is, by the way, the most successful scientific theory in all of history, it describes a reality that is fundamentally different. It's not a world of separate parts at all. It's an undivided, interconnected whole, where connections aren't even bound by space or by time. Okay, to really get this, imagine two coins that are magically linked the moment they're created. Now you take one of those coins to the farthest star in the galaxy. The very instant you look at your coin and see that it's heads, you know instantly that the other one is tails. There's no signal sent between them. The information doesn't travel. So how is that possible? Well, it's because they were never truly separate to begin with. They are and always will be two expressions of a single system. And physics tells us this is the fundamental nature of our universe.
A single system. That's such a beautiful way to put it, Enceladus, but it can feel a little abstract. Physics might give us a map, but it's the stories that let us actually feel the territory. So let's shift now from the language of theory to the language of the heart, where this undivided reality isn't just a concept, it's something we've all lived.
Let me tell you about Bobby the Wonder Dog. He got lost during a family road trip, and for 6 months, he walked 4,500 kilometers through a brutal winter, all the way back to his family's home in Oregon. A really detailed investigation proved he didn't just retrace his family's route, he actually forged his own path. He wasn't following a memory of a place, he was being pulled by an invisible thread of connection, a bond of love that just defies all logic and distance. And his story? It's just one of thousands like it.
The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer asked this really profound question. And the answer, well, it appeared one day on a New York subway platform when a man named Wesley Autry saw a complete stranger fall onto the tracks. Without a single thought, Autry jumped, covering the man's body with his own as the train roared right over them. Schopenhauer believed that in a moment like that, the illusion of being separate just dissolves. The rescuer realizes, on a level that's so much deeper than thought, that they and the person in need are one. And what about these experiences? Have you ever felt them? That uncanny feeling of being watched? Or a twin who suddenly feels a sharp pain only to learn their sibling broke a bone at that exact moment? Or that mother's intuition, that jolt awake in the middle of the night, absolutely certain her child, miles away, is in trouble? Biologist Rupert Sheldrake says these aren't just coincidences. He believes they're evidence of what he calls morphic fields, invisible blueprints of information that connect members of a group through a shared resonance, something that goes way beyond our 5 known senses.
These connections, they all hint at a consciousness that isn't locked inside the brain. And to find the most powerful evidence for this, we have to journey to the ultimate frontier, the very threshold between life and death itself.
Millions of people from every culture and background you can possibly imagine have been declared clinically dead, and then they've come back. And their stories are just astonishingly consistent. They describe leaving their bodies, moving through a tunnel toward a brilliant light, and reviewing their entire lives. But the real core of this near-death experience, the most crucial part, is this overwhelming feeling of being interconnected with absolutely everything, just bathed in unconditional love.
Now, skeptics often dismiss this. They'll say, oh, it's just a hallucination from a dying brain. But that explanation completely collapses when you look at shared death experiences. The researcher Raymond Moody actually documented what happened at his own mother's passing. As she died, he and 4 other healthy family members in the room all felt themselves being lifted. They all saw the light in the room change. They literally shared in her transition. So if consciousness is only in the brain, how can a whole group of healthy people share the subjective experience of dying?
And then there's this stunning connection discovered by psychiatrist Stanislav Grof. He found these deep patterns in our consciousness. He called them perinatal matrices that are formed during the biological trauma of our own birth. Think about it. That terrifying feeling of being trapped, the titanic struggle down a contracting tunnel, and then the explosive release into light and a new world. That's both the near-death experience and the birth experience. It suggests this whole journey of consciousness isn't foreign to us at all. It's a blueprint etched right into our very biology from the moment we arrive.
So, we've seen the echoes in physics, and we've felt the threads in our own lives. We've journeyed all the way to the edge of existence and back, and we've found a biological blueprint for transcendence. The only question left then is, how do we actually live from this place of knowing? How do we go from knowing to being?
Just let this question from the poet Rumi land in your heart. If this connection we've been talking about is real, if you are not some separate, fragile self, but you are an expression of the entire cosmos looking out through your eyes, how does that change everything? How does that change the way you see yourself, the way you see others, the way you see the entire world?
This journey into the one mind is so much more than an idea. It's an invitation to see the world and to see yourself in a completely new light. If this exploration has resonated with you, if you feel that calling, go ahead and leave a like to seal this energy. And to take it one step further, comment below with the words, "I activate my power," to decree your change. Thank you for joining us on this deep exploration.